Right. It's about the right height. I'm not going to pick this up. I don't like to hold too many things. So I'm just going to touch it. Yeah, I'm a 300-pound man who makes puppets, so deal with that. My name is Dave English. I work for the Greater Pittsburgh Arts Council, a background in the arts, and I have a grown-up like man job, but I have a side company called the Schmutz Company, and we make puppets, and we work with people making puppets, animation, artwork. It's really storytelling and character-driven. This is Moses of the Allegheny. He's not a real baby. He's made from plastic giant eagle bags, and no endorsement here, but also paper and cardboard, and basically schmutz or crud. If anybody hears of the Germanic or Yiddish persuasion, you recognize that word, a little schmutz on your shirt. So Moses of the Allegheny is a true story, mostly true story, that runs through the town I grew up in, which is Verona, Oakmont, that area. How many of you are familiar? Go ahead and raise your hand. If you're familiar with that area, but with the story of Moses of the Allegheny. Not a one. Who raised you? How many of you are familiar with the story of the Johnstown flood? Many more. Some hands didn't go up. I like to pick little historical anecdotes out of the past and turn them into performative pieces. The story of Moses of the Allegheny is the true story of a baby who survived the 1889 Johnstown flood in a boat-shaped rocker and traveled over 70 miles on 3 rivers and ended up offshore of Verona, where he was saved, brought to shore, adopted by a carpenter and his wife, who said, "This is a sign from God, we're going to keep him." The townsfolk said, "You can't do that, that's somebody's baby, man. That's crazy." And they wouldn't give him up. Finally, a man named John W. O'Brien, who owned the Casino Museum right off of Wood Street downtown, came to them and purchased the baby and made it the chief attraction in his Museum of Oddities. That was 1889, you could do different things back then. And it became then the Moses of the Allegheny. And people came from far and wide to see this. There wasn't as much to do back then. No internet. But it was the Hurricane Katrina of its day. And I love history, I love art, I love storytelling. So I thought I've always loved this story. And I thought I need to create this story. I need to build it, write it, and perform it. So I've done all of that. We performed it not too long ago at the Shadyside Nursery as part of the Weather Permitting series for a crowd of 100, 200 people, I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. I had an old man job. Like, I really probably shouldn't even be doing this stuff. Like, I'm very full of real life aside from it. But this is great fun, and it's an important story to me. I don't know how many people actually know the real story of the Johnstown flood. Many people attribute it to unusually heavy rains in May of 1889. In fact, the founding fathers of Pittsburgh, Carnegie, Mellon, Frick, Scaife, Phipps, I can go on and on. Many of the folks who sort of fund the life well, they had a country club 14 miles upstream of Johnstown, Pennsylvania, where there was a dam, the South Fork Dam, that was an earthen dam. There was a pipe they could have paid to replace, they didn't. There was a spillway they blocked off with fishing nets so their game fish didn't get out. They didn't take care of that. So the dam exploded, and over 20,000 tons of water traveled down this little stream into Johnstown and destroyed 4 square miles of Johnstown and killed about 3,000 people. This baby wasn't one of them. Moses survived and headed downstream and ended up offshore of my town. So I love this little story. I like this little puppet quite a bit too. I have an actual hand under there. But our plan, beyond just performing it now at this one event, is we've started to reach out to the little towns this baby traveled past. If you're familiar with the region, it traveled on 3 rivers: the Conemaugh out of Johnstown, to the Kiskiminetas, to the Allegheny, and on down to Pittsburgh. There are lots of little towns on those rivers heading all the way out, that's 70 miles. And we started to, my puppet troupe, I started to connect with them. And what's that?
Salzburg.
Salzburg is a great example. Any other examples on those rivers? Anybody from those river towns? Katanning, there you go, excellent. Points for Katanning and Salzburg. So in those little towns, we're going to visit them. we're raising funding now. We have the show built, it's rehearsed, it's a fun show, and we're going to connect with their historical groups. That's going, that's me. We're going to connect with their historical groups and their theaters and their arts organizations, and we've already started to do that, and they've invited us to come perform it. We thought we'll just show up and sort of reinstate this local mythology, this little tale a lot of folks don't know about. We found that not only did they say, yeah, we'll tolerate you and you can come perform this in our town, but moreover, they said, oh yeah, we'd like to be involved. And I said, well, how so? You mean like funding or like a venue? I said, no, we want to perform in it. So now it's become sort of Hurricane Katrina meets Waiting for Guffman, meets the Apple Dumpling Gang, because my buddy and I who run this puppet troupe are both ridiculous. So that's the back of my head, which is unappealing, but we're going to go to these towns. We have a bassoon player in Johnstown who wants to join the fray, somebody, the mayor's wife in Seward, and on and on. We're going to cumulatively build this show, add more verses to it, what happened in your town when the baby went by, and then hopefully bring them all to Pittsburgh, where they'll perform in one giant grand finale. That's my business partner, Don, holding puppets. He's actually a really serious man with a wife and like a house and stuff. I make him do this shit. he's like this much taller than me. That's us. We don't smoke, especially near babies. My phone's ringing. That means my 6 minutes or so are up. Thank you very much. Oh, what happened to the Moses of the Allegheny? Well, it was kind of a good thing. You still have to come to the damn show. You don't just get this free ending here. All right, everyone's for ball games and puppetry.
Is he like a mayor of Pittsburgh or something?
he's currently. No, sorry. No. What happened with his baby Pope, with the real baby of the Moses of the Allegheny? His mother survived and went to Wheeling, West Virginia. She saw her house destroyed with the baby in it. Thought, hey, he's dead, with the rest of the crew. And she relocated. She read the newspaper. Holy hell, there's this amazing baby who survived the flood in the rocker in Pittsburgh. That has to be my son. So she came to Pittsburgh. A custody battle ensued. And being the businessman that he was, the owner of the museum, said, I'll tell you what are you doing for a living? How are you going to support this baby? She said, I'm destitute. My husband's dead. I live in West Virginia. And he said, well, I'll turn the glass nursery I've built to house this baby in the front of my museum into a glass home if you will stay with me and continue on as my chief attraction. And she said yes to that shit.